Hi, Toni and Ferran. This is Christina from The Upcoming. It's so lovely to speak with you today. So, would you like to start by sharing what Norats is about?
Norats is the story of about a father and a son who, on the civil war in Spain, they need to run to the mountains, and they try to survive there about 30 years.
Yeah, it's a story about the human relation between this father and son, but at the same time, it's a story of a village that in one moment, one period of our history, everything changed. You know, they were living in peace, and suddenly the army came to the village and changed everything. This is the story about how these citizens fight for freedom these people are running all the time through the mountains, escaping from repression of the army, and with the hope to find the freedom not just for them, the freedom for everyone who desired the freedom at that time.
And how did you know that this was the right time to make the film?
It was the right time because we read a book that it's Norats from Mateo Morro, and we read the same book at the same time. He's playing very well the story about these people, about Jaume and Honorat Trias. And that was the perfect time because we need to have the information, and he put there all the information about the story, and we cut it to explain the story in our way, to explain the story about a father and a son who need to survive, but also they need to have a life at the end.
And speaking of the book, there was also a documentary about the father and son that was made in 2017. What new perspectives or insights do you think your film brings to their story?
Well, it's different, The documentary explain the real story, but we are making fiction. It's fiction. We need to create the drama for the story. We need to create some character that maybe they didn't exist. Some of them are inspired in real characters. Some of them are real characters. It's different, the construction of the drama, if you are making fiction, that you are making documentary. The documentary was just an interview, a long interview to the writer of the book that we inspired. That were inspired, But in our case, I think it's different. The perspective is similar, of course, but it's different because of the drama. It's very important because there's 4 episodes. We have more time to develop the story because we have 180 minutes, for explain the story. The documentary was just 45, 50 minutes. I think it's more deep our approach to the story through the fiction.
And I think that the documentary explains the fact, and we need to explain why it happened, everything. And we can explore what happened to the characters and how they explore their exits about the problem they have.
And on the topic of the story and the drama, so much of the story takes place in the Serra de Tramuntana. As both of you are natives of Palma, could you tell us a bit about the mountain's environment and significance?
Yeah, I think for us is other character of the TV series. We have different real characters, the human character, but the other character is the environment, is the mountains, the deep forest, because the forest were the place where these 2 guys need to survive during 13 years. They need to adapt to the wildlife, And for us, it was very important to shoot the story in the same place because we live in a village that is very, very close to these mountains, to this mountain, to this forest, So we knew how's the life there. My grandfather, for example, worked when he was young, working in the forest, cutting, ¿cómo se dice? Cortar troncos, cutting trees, the wood, working for the wood at the forest, And he told me a lot of stories about the forest, about the Serra de Tramuntana, about the Norats, So for us were very important this character that is the mountains.
So even though Norats is very different, it's based on true people and events, and it's set in the mountains, and it's in Catalan. Its story calls to mind the Endless Trench, La Trinchera Infinita. As many people who watch the Endless Trench will be very interested in your film. Could you share what you think of the Endless Trench, and what do you think people who watched that film will take away from Norats?
I think that we have the same subject of the story, but at the end it's another different story. So because we explain the story of about the son and his father, and how his relationship changed in 30 years. I think the perspective is really different for that, and what we explain with the actors that how they live their life after 30 years. We explore a lot about that. We explore at the start the civil war, they need to survive, and after that how they try to have a life, isn't it? So I think that's the subject of our story, and I think the other movie have another subject.
But I think it's interesting for the rest of the world to watch this kind of movie because it's our war. Every country, most of the countries of the world have their own war. The civil war have had a lot of connection with other wars. Now, for example, we have actual real wars now, like Ukraine, like Israel, and the situation of the people, the innocent people, is very similar. So I think it's interesting to watch this film. If you don't need to be Spanish to watch this film. I think our intention was to arrive to more people than not just the Mallorquin people or Spanish people. I think if everybody who watched the series could be connected, or can connect with the story.
How important do you think film festivals like Evolution Mallorca are important? How important do you think they are for independent film?
I think that these festivals are really important for us, for the creators and the directors, and for the public, because right now we have an issue about the cinemas, that the people don't go to the cinema, and the festivals can say what things you need to go to see. And I think it's a good place to know movies, to know what do you need to go to see, a place to have a publicity about the movies, or what's the stories we explain.
For me, it's very important festival because I think I've been in all the editions from the first one. The first one, I had a film there. Maybe in 10 or 9 edition, I had some of my film, my shorts, my movie, my documentaries. So for me, it's very important, the festival, and how important it is for independent films, for local films from local creators. Because in Mallorca, we have a lot of connection with the world, because of the tourism. But the culture, the cinema, maybe it's not so important for the rest of the world. So for us, it's very good if we have this opportunity to have festival as Evolution and other festivals, because it's a place where we can make good, relation with other filmmakers. We can show our movies, our projects. So for us, it's necessary and very important.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.